Let's do it.
So today's the today's the 13th.
13th, I believe.
13th. You got a mosquito on your head. How about you watch out for me and I'll watch out for you? How's that?
Deal.
13th day of September 2025. It's the last few minutes of the morning. And we'll just muse a bit, paddle in, so to speak.
Sure.
See if we can find a thread, find a vein, find a current to follow.
Well, the big idea,
Ride,
to my
wave
understanding,
ride.
was a review of this most recent summer.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. We should do that in the context of the Crawford built entities.
Yep.
So the foundation, the properties, and the adventure company. So what are your thoughts?
Well, just my summer, personally, I spent working full-time for Kitsap Trident Homes.
Nice.
As primarily a laborer. I did spend some time in the office though as well, doing some more managerial office work. And in relation to the entities, I think that is working towards our goal of having a business owning, managing, and building properties, as I would be the primary.
We could just say
Source of
principal,
labor.
I suppose. Well, labor now, principal long term.
Sure.
Does that seem like a fair characterization? That's how I think about it.
Principal as in?
Principal agent.
Sure. That works.
Yep. Okay. So you were working on residential?
Yep.
Entirely?
Yep. Single family, residential, a lot of custom, fancy old people retirement dream houses.
Yep.
So I got to do a lot of very intricate, kind of the complete opposite of the cookie cutter full neighborhood house construction. This was building people's dreams, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do a little bit of that. So more ornate craftsmanship.
Definitely.
Yep, that's
a
really
lot more,
good.
a lot of attention into detail.
Yeah, it can be maddening sometimes.
Oftentimes it was.
Yeah, but yeah. Okay, so that's great. So you didn't do any foundational work though, is that right? Did you?
Yeah, I did a little bit of pretty much everything.
Oh, you did? You worked with
other
concrete
than
some?
concrete.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
So that is something to maybe put a pin in and aim to get some of that experience. Are you inclined to try that at all?
I am, at this point, I'm still wanting all the experience I can possibly get. So yes, next year there's a pretty good chance that I would be working with foundations, since I will probably, if I can have it my way and it follows the way I expect it to, I'll be working in a more industrial sense with an internship. So, and that requires a lot more.
Still in labor or more in management, do you think?
I can't say. Probably a bit of both.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see. So I'll talk a little bit about the adventure company,
Sure.
I think.
Yeah.
And we'll play off the two. and let's talk about the foundation too. So before I forget about the foundation, one of the things that I thought about today was taking the mission construct and doing micro mission
Okay.
for like day labor mission type stuff. It's like take a crew just for a day
Right.
and do a project,
Okay.
which is something that I've thought about before, but that it just got foregrounded for me this morning for
Sure.
whatever reason. So there, you know, like there's a particular sink that we are aware of that we could make a day out of
Yeah.
for the right crew.
Yep.
And saying that reminds me of Logan reached out and said if there was anything that he could do to not hesitate. So I contemplated doing a call to action with respect to him today specifically, so that maybe we come back and touch on that a little more.
I actually texted him. So.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Okay.
About just spending quality time while I'm in town, as well as I have a habit of giving him my clothes that don't fit me anymore.
Yeah.
So I told him, hey, I'm gonna be throwing away a lot of stuff moving out of the room, so you should swing by, see if you can find anything you like.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So he might come by.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be today or tomorrow, but if
Okay.
he wants clothes, which he likes that system, so.
Okay, so the adventure company, it was mostly, there was a lot of failing this summer season from my
Sure.
perspective, which is fine
Yeah.
for where that part of the organization is in its arc of development.
Yeah.
Somewhat demoralizing going into the autumn. I'm sticking with the construct.
Okay.
Kyle is counseling me to go more internal with it,
Okay.
as in develop the constructs with a little more care.
And by constructs, you mean like the structure of the adventures?
Yeah, like what are the, yeah. So I had a full, not a full session, but he and I spent a chunk of time debriefing the time at the coast, so
Okay.
out at Ozette.
Yeah.
And yeah, we also talked about, so the thing that's coming to me as I recall that is we were recalling the particular dynamic where we had one of the most difficult things for me in that session was the fact that almost all of the participants were already familiar with the space, had their own constructs
Sure.
in mind when they showed up, and basically were doing their own thing, which is
Right.
great. Like it's still a joy for purposes of developing the adventure company. However, basically I was concluding with Kyle that I need to open it back up to more public and probably focus on getting somewhere it's essentially complete strangers rather than the friends and family thing, which we've been mixing in pretty much all year.
Yeah. What is, you said something to me a while ago, or quoted something that was something somewhere along the lines of, people who don't need structure don't need you.
Yeah, I attribute that to Dora.
Yeah.
So she's the one that told me that.
So that is what comes to mind with Ozette, because everyone was very well acquainted with the space and the adventure.
Yeah, they didn't need more structure. Yep. So I'll play with the tension, friction, flow construct a little bit right now and say there's a tension between, well, there's always a tension in how much structure to even offer.
Right. Yeah, especially in balance with the act of play. It's
Yeah, and in relation with the discovery of insight, so the dialogical
Sure.
thing that you and I are doing right now. So there's a pretty strong cultural current right now around what's referred to as dialogos.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
familiar with that term. So that's where the dialogue takes on a life of its own. And that is part of what the experiences are expressly intended to induce.
Sure.
And the balance between exploratory play and structure is a really fine balance.
Yeah.
So enough said on that one. I think you want to say anything about the one prior to that? So
What was that, the 4th?
that would have been the July instance, yeah. So that was I was relying predominantly on
Yeah.
you bringing people in, and you did bring people in, but you want to just quickly recap what you felt the failings were there? A couple of them come to mind for me, but
The time I think was the biggest one.
what do you mean the time?
We didn't have enough of it. For
Well, that's
what
always going to be the case. So it's like the time didn't get budgeted. Is
Yeah. We kind of I bit off more than I could chew time wise, I'd say. And then on top of that, I think the reason it felt like we were getting rushed is because the structure wasn't great. We had there were a lot of bodies who needed a lot of structure, in contrast to Ozette, but I think it was on the other end of that where there wasn't, we could have had more, and it wasn't there. So it kind of, the spark, there was definitely a lot of interest, and people want to do it again, those who were a part of it. But there was not enough of fanning that flame of interest and revelation from the experience that we're really going for.
Say that again, please. Just that
Um,
last bit about fanning.
Said a different way, there's two squirrels fighting. See if I can put it more clearly. As a host, I don't feel like I facilitated the guests to really appreciate and what's the word? Not really conceptualize, but I wasn't engaging enough, essentially. Because people were interested, they liked the idea, but there wasn't enough structure. There wasn't enough for them to do to really sink their teeth into.
Yeah.
We were
So
kind
one
of
of the
just
things
hanging
that
out.
Kyle says is there's two things that he wants right away with people when he's facilitating. He says, I want you to feel connected and I want you to feel alive.
Right.
So basically it's like you're almost taking people by the collar and going, we're going to do this particular thing right away.
Right.
And the EMP organization has really made that really, really clear for me. It's like they immediately get into pretty vigorous
Yeah.
bodily play, body to body even, right away.
Right.
And I'm thinking back also when I'm listening to what you're saying and when I remember the little circle exercise that I did with you and Gavin, I
Right.
think, and Logan, and I don't remember who else was present that day for sure. That was last year, I think,
Yeah.
sometime. Okay, so then you said another thing that really. So the sparking. So you were saying things, and a whole bunch of things were going off in my mind. So you were
Sure.
really triggering insights for me.
Okay.
around there was one other dynamic that I was remembering that you had talked about, where that cohort, it was a sizable cohort. I don't
Yeah.
remember how many people, but it was
8.
so there were 8 people, and it was a mix of people that had been there
Yep.
and did know the structure that was already there to
Yep.
some degree, and then there were brand new folks that didn't, and there was a tension between those two subpopulations of the
Yep.
whole population that
Yep.
you called my attention to, that I think is particularly poignant
Sure.
and important to notice, because those were still all acquaintances of yours. Like, there weren't any perfect strangers there,
Yep.
right? And yet you have a proxy for the stranger, in the sense that you have people new to the space,
Yeah.
along with people that were already there. And I think that there was a little bit of, I think you even talked about how people who had been there before had dim views of some of the patterns of behavior of the people who hadn't been there before.
I don't
Is
know
that-
what you mean. They had never, no one, those two groups had never met each other before.
I know, I thought you had said that you had felt that some of the, what do we call them?
There's the North Bendiites.
The
and-
veterans
Yeah, sure.
of the space felt that some of the actions of the newcomers were disrespectful.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so the handling, like, that dynamic is always going to happen to
Yeah.
some extent. So the insight that you're sparking for me is that particular dynamic is a perennial problem, so to speak, if you want to frame it as a problem, which I will, because I want to resolve that tension,
Sure.
or put it to good use, is probably a better way of saying it, in each and every occurrence of it. So that requires, I will say, culture or framing, I think maybe is what Kyle would say. What is the framing of those dynamics? And then there was another thing cross-generationally that was occurring to me. So there's always a caution. Whenever I talk about culture, you know full well that I think that we have just basically lived through the end of a culture. There's been this tension between generations going on,
Right.
and it's substantially over. Like, I think the scuffling, the fighting, the real hard part of the tension is substantially complete at this point. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's true?
I'm not so sure. I mean, I feel like we're in the meat of it right now.
Okay. So can you say a little bit more about that?
I'm just listening and watching the current kind of world events, and especially geopolitics. I think are increasingly, not specifically in just the occurrence and frequency and scale, but the causes are increasingly, it seems, started, or it is increasingly started, or having, what am I trying to say? A younger demographic and population are becoming more active in a political and a more politically active way, and that's causing what it seems like more conflict between the old and the new world order.
Yeah, you're seeing that play out in the geopolitical domain, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
And I feel like I feel like the political is downstream
Right. It's caused
of
by.
the things that are actually, so you're actually seeing an outpicturing in the geopolitical phenomena
Right.
of things that have already happened,
Sure.
like subculturally, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I was just confused because it sounded like, well, it sounded to me like you were saying that things are settling down. And
Things are never, so on the surface of things are always probably going to look frenetic.
yeah, definitely.
I suppose there's times of ebb and flow of tapering and such, but I might be wrong. I don't
Sure.
want
Well,
to.
yeah, I guess the only thing that I want to, the point of me talking, is to say that I guess I feel a certain amount of caution, um, and there's still a bit of insecurity as far as what the future is going to look like.
Yeah, the future, Jim Morrison said, I think the future is uncertain and the end is always near.
Right.
What I want to do in response to that, because I kind of want to move on a little bit
Sure.
here, is just simply express strong confidence.
Mm.
Like I'm privileged to both have participated in some of the pretty deep currents, I think, of the subcultural phenomena that I'm talking about.
Okay.
So the things that I'm tracking, the things that I've been paying attention to, are in that domain.
Right.
And I've been doing that really carefully for at least 5 years now. So, and I'm seeing members of my cohort beginning to come to the fore. So people so like Michael Levin is a biologist. That's a name that I wanted to drop in here.
Okay.
I don't know hardly anything about him. My attention has only recently been drawn to him, but my attention has been drawn by, it's Vervaeke specifically, and then there's a whole, I'm seeing the cohort around that. So there's always the figureheads, there's always the luminaries,
Right.
that shine the brightest. They're not alone. So there's a whole cohort that's moving along with them through time, generationally speaking, and those people are starting to come to light in that they're reaching that point in their professional careers where they're releasing and publishing. So scientifically, specifically, it's like you're going to spend your whole career basically. I think about it. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but this is what it looks like to me. You do your thesis while you're being trained in your domain, your discipline. Mm-hmm. That's like a miniature version of what you're going to do for the entire rest of your professional career.
Right.
You're going to pick a topic and you're basically going to try to prove that false, that whatever the hypothesis is, or series of hypotheses, or whatever. So what's the point? The point is, I've been privileged to be exposed to a lot of that, and I'm simultaneously been privileged to work with members of your age group and those a little bit older than you.
Right.
And I have a high degree of confidence in that cohort. Yours and those a little bit older than you. I can't speak so much to the ones that are a little bit younger than you right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to discount the very real, I don't know if it's correct to call them traumas, but I hear other people use that term in relation with the wave of technology. Like it's technology always cuts both ways, and there's consequences until you play with the thing you don't know.
Yeah.
So there's very real things to address there. I don't think I have any illusions about that. The specifics, I also can't claim to know specifics. I just know that there's issues to resolve. The point that I want to draw, though, is, the point that I want to make here with you is that I need you to understand that my focus is shifting from getting through that crisis period to the next crisis.
Okay.
Because the work that I'm best suited to do essentially is prepare now, culturally, structurally, what is going to be necessary for your cohort and those that are around after I'm dead and gone to basically navigate that one.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so what are the bases of that? And that's very much what I'm doing with the Crawford Bill entities.
Yeah.
Okay. So that I just said a whole bunch. We were doing a recap. Is there anything else to say in relation to your experiences this summer, or anything that I'm saying right now, or anything else you want to bring in?
I'd agree with your confidence. I just personally, as a member of the younger generation, feel and continue to feel more confident about taking on responsibility of myself, my community, and the world. This summer, I embodied that, I think, to a large degree, taking care of my job and my living arrangements and my grandparents.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to tackle more with the coming school year.
Sweet. Okay.
So, good message of hope.
Yeah, that's great. What else, if anything?
You wanted to talk about, in our conversation before this video, you wanted to talk about the properties or financial, is acuity the right word? I don't think so.
Yeah, so there's a shift that's going to occur for me at some point where I shift from the focus on the particular. So I'm a white collar professional. That consumes an enormous amount of my time right now.
Yep.
At some point, there's an equality that occurs, so to speak. So if you're thinking algebraically, there's going to be value realization through living out that story, living out the W-2 employee story.
Yeah.
And that is going to be equivalent with the value realization through living out the Crawford built story.
Yeah.
It's not a simple equation.
No.
At least not yet. Like, I am resolving it to closer and closer to exactly that. Well, yeah, it's always a moving target.
Yeah.
Both sides. So it's like, when does that move happen?
Yeah, because you do believe that the trend is that the Crawford bill is getting more valuable, or while the W-2 is stagnating.
Well, I don't know that it's stagnating. It's different in nature, and at some point, I believe everything that I'm doing that is of, well, not everything. So I'll bring the Pareto principle in. So in both domains, the 80-20 rule or Pareto principle applies. So there is something less than 20% of the time that I'm spending working as a W-2 employee is realizing value. The value realization is way higher for that chunk of time.
Sure.
On the Crawford built side of things, so what you and I are doing is essentially building systems.
Mm-hmm.
And as though, so the value realization, that one is more, how do I say this? What I'm seeing is a time scale.
Mm.
So you're building. Not much. It doesn't look like much value is being realized.
Sure.
At some point, you start to turn the systems on, and they start to deliver value.
Right.
So as that happens, the time and attention shifts.
Mm.
My time and attention shifts, I guess. Is that making any sense? It doesn't really sound like it's making sense.
Let me see if I can say it back to you. Yeah, I can.
Okay. Maybe
I got a little turned around in my own head. I got distracted by other things, but
okay. So let's table that particular topic then. Thank you
Sure.
for reminding me that was something. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was so we talked about using supplements.
yeah,
So nutritional supplements
right.
and introducing like a laboratory construct into a more, I guess, empirical frame, I think, is how you would say that?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Into some of the things that we do
Yeah.
within all of the...
Yep, integrating it into our systems.
So do you have anything to say about that?
I think what we're promoting, what we're cultivating is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And a large part of that lifestyle is not just adventures, it's not just community, but it is habits.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where the empirical stuff comes into play, because a lot of the adventures and a lot of just interpersonal action, you get out of it what you put into it, and you get out of it what you're looking for.
Yeah.
In a very real and powerful way. But in contrast, what you do with yourself, while mentality and intention and attention still have a large degree of, or have a large effect on your physiology at large, regardless of what it is you're actually physically doing, it's a lot more simple, I think, to do yourself correctly and do the best you can for yourself by yourself than it is to cultivate and navigate group cultural dynamics and situations to reap the benefits from that. So I think on top of it is an additive thing. I think what we should be doing at a lifestyle habitual practices level is outside of the adventures as well as inside. I think we can do both, but the biggest effect of, like, taking supplements and staying healthy is that, similar to all of these games and activities that we make, we can explain to people and help people do really simple stuff that has a really, really big impact on just life satisfaction also.
Yeah. Okay, so that was well said. The thing that was really coming up for me as I was listening to that was that sounds like a residential program to me. So how long does it take to form the habit or habits? So that's a period of practice is what it is. Well,
Right.
what is the period of practice that it takes? And to be able to afford somebody a residential experience. Well, so you've done it a couple of times now. So you've spent a couple of summers out there,
Yeah.
essentially living on your own. Less so this summer than the prior one, but
Yep.
yeah. So you see what I'm
Yeah.
getting what I'm saying?
Yes. I think we can. Well, ideally, I think we should do it indefinitely. I think if there are if we are able to build a successful, active, alive community, then there isn't a time limit to helping sustain, build, and develop those kind of we need a word for it, but this kind of lifestyle of habitual learning that we want to promote, because a large thing, well, for one thing, obviously, and this was something that I was thinking about just the other night on my own, is I think it's fascinating how most things get easier the more you do them.
Yeah.
Just period.
Yeah.
That being said, that the start is always the hardest part.
Yeah.
And what helps in my own experience and what I've heard from other people and just all of my life experience combined is that community to hold accountability, to act as a reminder, and to not, in a very non-invasive way, I think, help to develop that personal growth.
Yeah. So I think now is the time to recruit for that. So I think we should basically start to identify the candidates to do that. What do you think in terms of cohort size? Do you have any first impression or first blushes? Like how many? Think about Mirth. Think about not necessarily the exact constraints that are there right now in terms of places people can stay,
Right.
but something approximating it. And I think we should basically get a roster going. I think we should start to get.
Well, okay, so I'm confused what exactly you're getting at. So you're talking about establishing a permanent or ongoing.
Well, the way that
group?
I'm thinking about it is so everybody has their own aspirations, or if they
Yep.
don't have aspirations, that's probably part of the interview process.
Yeah.
Is like, what are your aspirations? Candidates are going to fall into one of two categories, as they always do.
Yep.
They're either going to be able to articulate what their aspirations are, or they're not. So if their aspirations align with our longer term aspirations here, which extend for you and I into perpetuity, then basically tailor the experience
Right.
to those aspirations. Does that make sense?
But we're not talking about
Let's use
adventures.
We're talking about all three of them simultaneously. So
Yeah.
take you as an example. you you've developed your own, you aspire to things. And you basically have been able to develop a program with help from others.
Right.
And you've been able to run that program that is establishing in you those lifetime habits that you're talking about.
Right.
Through your time at Mirth. Right?
Yep.
All that's true. So just think about, so you're prototypical.
Yep.
So now think about, okay, take someone else. It isn't going to be exactly the same program.
Sure.
There are going to be, this was another big thing about the experiences with EMP is that that organization really draws attention to the fact that it seems like there's all of these things that we can do, but really they're focused on just developmental movement specifically. Right. And they're like, actually, there's a taxonomy here. There's actually one progression, give or take a little, that is the way that you move through learning how to move your body in the world.
Right. That
produces over the developmental arc of those movements an outsized agency of movement in the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what you're wanting to do is, I just continuously gamify the right word, gamify that process of finding,
tailor,
like the movement, finding what people, so someone's aspiration is, I want to be better at moving in the world physically, and EMP is largely focused on that aspiration and developing that skill. You're wanting to take individuals' personal aspirations and build a curriculum around that development.
Yeah, it's a tailored program for the specific participant.
Yeah.
And included within that is so basically I'm thinking trade.
Okay.
So we don't have a lot of cash to work with right now. Well, there's other ways than cash to exchange value. One is, hey, there's a place to live. There's a place to be where you can just hang out a lot. Like, you don't have to worry about going out and getting money for a bunch of stuff right now, which is particularly helpful often if you're trying to change base level patterns of behavior on a daily basis.
Right.
Like you said, it takes getting over the inertia. You didn't say it that way, but the first few moves are the hardest ones. So how do you deal with that? You basically clear everything off of the plate, so to speak, and say, just focus on those things.
Right.
But the value add here is that you and I are in a position, I believe, to basically counsel someone coming into such a program and say, okay, let's build a schedule here for you. And in trade, here's some other things that we need you to do while you're here.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. When we originally started talking about the topic with you bringing up supplements, I was thinking something a little more basic. So with personal aspirations, I think is a great market. But on top of that, the natural allure that we have discovered with Crawford Built Adventures primarily, and the space and bringing people into a space to play games and to get away from, I'll say, normal life, that I guess spark that interest, that novelty, I think we can expound upon by adding in rituals and by introducing habits that are just baseline good for a person, that make them feel better. Like just having our adventures outside for alone is, I think, a large part of why people are so consistently drawn to the idea. And I think there's a lot of stuff like that, like being happy just in my life, and what I believe for all living beings is a pretty simple equation.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to incorporate that into anything if you do it with some modicum of consciousness.
Yeah.
So I think like something to always be thinking about when we're including people in any part of the Crawford built entities is making sure that we're adding as much of general health, wellness, benefits, just little tidbits as we can, like having enough water for everyone just on standby, having everyone get an amount of exercise, having social engagement and sun exposure, nature exposure, explorative activity, stuff like that. I think that's a really easy way to really level up the experience.
Okay, so I want to come back to the laboratory
Sure.
idea though, because without part of the empirical approach is you're falsifying. So you basically have to say, this is the hypothesis. This is the way things are, and then go try to disprove that.
Right.
So that's where I'm saying there has to be some, if you're saying base layer stuff,
Right.
we're not just saying this is gonna make you better.
Feel better. Yeah.
But we also can't dictate what the
Right,
criteria are. You
good.
have to do that.
Yeah.
You're a participant.
Yep.
Okay, what's an appropriate frame? In my experience, it's like a weekend is not really enough for the really base. I'm thinking predominantly nutrition is what I'm saying.
Sure.
So it's like nutrition and exercise. Exercise in particular, like that's an easy one to get measurements on.
Right.
It's like, how many push-ups can you do? How many chin-ups can you do?
Right.
Can you swim a mile?
Right.
Whatever. So those are, you need a certain period of residency, I feel, to run, well, for branding purposes, like Crawford built is just solid.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't want to, we're not going to compromise that. So, well, that means that when you demonstrate something, you really demonstrate it. That's in fact the case. And my sense is that the weekend construct or day construct is insufficient. It's anecdotal. It's anecdotal evidence.
I think I still think it's, I mean, I don't think you'd disagree that it's still powerful, but I think it's enough to hook people still. I think it's, like with the exercise and stuff, aside from extreme cases.
So I want to interrupt there because I'm not interested in hooking people. I mean, I am, but I'm more interested in building a brand in which people feel enriched. Like hooking, when I hear hooking, I hear like drug addiction. It's like you're hooked on something.
Well, it's not what I'm trying to imply. I guess I know you're wanting attraction, but you have to put something out there for people to be attracted to. And that's what I see as those low investment opportunities of a weekend retreat.
Okay.
Because I think we can get, like what I'm trying to say is, the personal aspirational development is definitely something that we should do. I think that's good, and I mean, I think that's what all people should do, is just active development of your aspirations and goals, tracking and all that. And I think we have space to help people with that as a market opportunity. I think because you have I'd say a strange relationship with advertising. I think, from what I understand of how you want to cultivate the fan base of Crawfordville Adventure, is through proven, obvious, actionable, or measurable value add to a person. You don't want to say this is going to do this and this and this for you. You just want people to be like, oh, that is doing this and this and this for me, so I'll buy into it. I think the best way to do that I have seen thus far is through those weekends where, while we can't get into who are you really, what do you really want to be, what is your story, we can very easily, in a very generalized form, have people participate in something that will make the vast majority of the population feel better about themselves.
Okay. I hear you. So I want to move a little bit beyond. So I guess what I'm also seeking to do. So we'll take that approach for purposes of this discussion and say that, okay, that remains the primary focus, is the weekend constructs. Okay. You're focused already individually, largely on the properties part of it, with respect to development. You're already an able.
Yeah. My own.
You're becoming an able tradesman.
Yeah.
Simultaneous to that, you're also becoming an able manager.
Yep.
Construction manager. So those, you embody kind of the core of that part of the business. I still feel like, as a founder, I'm needing to play all three games, all three constructs, enough to keep them all growing together, good enough for now. With my aspiration long term to move into just facilitating those experiences. Like that would be, presumably that's where I anticipate, that's what I aspire to. It's like, as I'm
that's the happily ever after.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's where my time and attention goes predominantly, if not exclusively, over time.
Right.
In the near term, it's like and I might be wrong about this, but it seems like that's the hardest one to drive revenue off of.
The construction?
No, the adventure.
Oh, yeah.
The adventure. So what you're saying, about everything that you just said a few minutes ago. That requires those are expensive to put on.
Yeah.
From a time and attention standpoint. So while I really love doing those, I'm feeling like, okay, the construction and the local presence, that's the foundation, they need more direct attention right now.
I'd agree.
I'm not stopping on the construction stuff at all. That's what I'm talking about. Over the course of the winter, I might not be making the offerings as explicitly as I have in the past, or had intended for the remainder of 2025.
Yeah.
but the programming of them is still very much ongoing.
Yeah.
So I'm working with multiple partners on
Yeah.
getting that tighter and tighter and tighter, so that the next time it comes to deploy it more broadly, it's going to be a different experiment at minimum, and I think it's just going to be a higher, there's going to be a greater success rate.
Sure.
As the deployment happens. Okay. But back to the residential, like I need apprentices, essentially is maybe the bluntest way to say it. Like I need other bodies present on the property doing work. I don't have a lot of cash presently to just trade in that way.
Yeah.
And frankly, at this stage, like I'm not really interested in doing it based on just cash money alone. Some cash can be involved, but I'm more interested in, here we go. So the bias that I think you're detecting in me is that those apprentices, just like the experience that I've had as an apprentice with EMP, is that I am a representative of that brand now in the market forever, because of the quality of the experience that I had with that.
Right.
And that is a long-term play, but that's a really strong play.
Sure. Okay. So finding eligible participants to be brought into the field as to become representatives.
Exemplars
Yeah.
of the brand, essentially, is how I think about it. It's like, this is, because people provide the most compelling aspirational targets. It's like, I admire you.
All right.
How do I be more like you? Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, that makes sense. So you prompted me to start thinking of a list of a group.
Yeah, be on the lookout for candidates. Don't hesitate to label them as such.
Right.
I mean, even in direct conversation with them without introducing them to me. Like if you are encountering a strong candidate and you're like, I think you should come see this place. I think you should meet these people. Let's see what happens. And then the last thing that I wanted to prompt you on was the different storyline tropes. So there's the death and rebirth.
Right.
You know, the story of the Phoenix. And there's a couple of vehicles. I was thinking about the Chevy specifically, and then I was also thinking about the Land Rover. And juxtaposing those two projects essentially is one way to think about that.
Right.
With a candidate, with a specific project lead. So there's a sense of identity that comes with, so I want to keep those vehicles, like those are characters. We've talked about that before. If we can keep those in the construct, in the larger frame of the entities.
Yep.
That's part of the mythology.
Yeah.
It's part of the storyline, which is also a very compelling thing. But then those participants, like they're vested into the story in a way that is one of a kind.
Yeah.
It's like, I brought that thing to life again. So those, I think that's enough for me. You get the closing remarks here, or if there's anything more you want to ask me, I'm happy to respond.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I think there are tons of, like, the opportunities for finding those kind of people are endless. I think it's bringing those people in to the space, well, finding them and bringing them in is largely going to depend on our skills to because until we get more, we are two of the few representatives and exemplars of what we're promoting. So that puts more pressure on us to be a interesting, to be an inspiration
Yeah.
for more people to join us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to lead by example.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you,
Of course.
as always, for your careful attention.